Hello and welcome back to Workers and Resources of Soviet Republic, Episode 6. So I want to start off today's episode by showing you the groundwork I've laid down, a plan, if you will. So, off of this new town development over here, I've expanded the rail down quite a bit, added in another loop, and already started construction down here. Got the construction office, vehicle depot going, and then the key feature down here, of course, is the steel mill. And from here, the plan is going to be turning this mountain here into a coal gold mine. And I'm not certain how I'm going to be doing it exactly, but I know this is going to be a huge provider of coal. Not only running the steel mill, which requires an extreme amount of coal, but also probably going to throw in a brick factory somewhere, fund that with the coal from there, as well as a power plant. So coal will definitely be the first base resource I start going for, because there's so many industries that require coal. The other thing you'll notice, our city has a new name, Carsaw. I know. 100% creative. But yeah, just because there's a bunch of names just popping up all over the place, put in a name as centralized as I could and cleared out all of those other ones. Just kind of clean it up a bit. And that way it allows our city hall here to provide a greater range of coverage, which isn't always the best case, but in this case, it works for me. I want to know the statistics for this whole area that I'm developing, really. And so this construction is gonna go along fairly slowly, because we got our construction offices up here. And for most of their resources, they have to go all the way down to the border to get them. Not ideal, but it's working. Getting the roads in, getting this rail yard construction office going in, and then we've got a new office over here already as well. So it's going to take a while for them to get all this built up. So we can just leave them to that and move on to the next project, get that started. And the next project, I think, is going to have to be setting up that coal. Oh, fire. What is it? A bus platform. Oh, jeez. Yep. Fire truck was called and was headed there. There he is. Wow. Don't worry, buddy. No rush. Jeez. You don't even have to go that far. At least we got firefighters ready to go. Well, handled that pretty well. So this here is what I came up with after my first attempt, and it consisted of 4 coal mines. Really five. Four that were connected there in that picture. There was a fifth one I had placed and had no idea how I was going to end up connecting it. And on top of that, with the four that I did place, I really wasn't happy with how it was looking. I had also put in 2 coal ore processors, which would have been nowhere near enough to process the amount of coal ore that was going to be getting cranked out of these coal mines. And so I would have had to have loaded up coal ore and taken it somewhere else to process anyway. So in the next step, I cleaned it up a bit. You know, it still looks a little chaotic, but there's at least a rhyme and reason to it. So with this, I just scrapped it and started back anew. Alright, so I wasn't happy with how that one turned out, so starting fresh. Let's try this again. Let's see here. Coal mine. And what I'm going to try and do here, I'm going to try and get them lined up along here. Maybe 2 or... yeah, I think 2's all I'm going to be able to line up along here. So let's go ahead and do that. And turn on the wireframe maybe so I can get them in a nice line. So let's start throwing them in here. Get them lined up pretty well. Decide that's too nice, so I bulldoze them and turn them. Now really what I'm doing is trying to turn them because I'm trying to find a central point to put the storage for them and just run the storage to run a conveyor to there so the coal ore can just be dumped off in a storage point. Combining 2 conveyors, turning it into one essentially, makes it a lot easier to funnel it somewhere, and then also costs a lot less having to run, not running multiple conveyors the full length of it. So I'm looking around trying to figure out where I'm going to put another coal mine, because I'm also thinking at this point I gotta have these coal mines close enough, you know, to each other that it'd be worthwhile running train stops up here. And with the layout I got there, I'm thinking, you know, I can put a train stop between each pair of them, and that way have a train coming up, drop off at a train stop, and it'll provide workers to 2 mines. And so here I decide to throw in 2 large storages, and I'm going to run each pair to a large storage. And then there I got my train aggregate loading, and the large storages are going to feed into that. And then I'm not going to be processing the coal up here either. I was looking there for a minute. I had a coal processor out, and I was looking to see if it could fit in there. And I mean, each one of those coal mines, I mean, if it's got a good quality, it can, and a full complement of workers, it can easily put out about 800 tons of coal ore a day. Those coal ore processors, each one at maximum production, will only process, I think, 120 tons of coal ore. So if you have a 100% quality of source, which is, I've never gotten 100%. I've gotten like 70-80%. But even at that, that's a ton of coal. More than a ton. That's a lot of coal ore. Many tons of coal ore. And I mean, it's still like 6 processors for each mine to have it processed and not just get a backlog of coal ore, which is more or less worthless. Because the coal ore doesn't really sell for much of anything. So it's best just to turn it into coal and then store up as much coal as you can. And if you get too much coal, you can start selling that, because it is that's when it actually starts becoming worth a little bit at least. And so here I'm just struggling with the terrain, trying to get a decent looking track run under the conveyor to a station there. I'm looking here to get my second platform in, and I'm thinking I'm going to have the tracks run between the 2 stations, and you know, just have a train stop at one and a next train stop at the next one. Not having it stop at both. Unless, I don't know, unless I put an enormous capacity train on here, in which case I guess I could have it stop on both. But I don't really like doing those enormous capacity trains because I don't, at least right now, I don't have the worker supply for it. But that may change in the future. It's more important to have the frequency of the trains right now. So now I'm just throwing in some power. It's looking like I can just use one substation for the whole thing. So I go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got this coal section laid out now. Now I need to tie it into the roads if I want to start getting it constructed, but I still want to hold off on that so our construction vehicles, our construction offices can focus more on, first off, finishing this so we can start getting rails laid. And then from there I'll probably open it up to get this constructed, but I can start laying the roads and just not fully connect it. So let's see, where are we going to want to run these roads to? This is a maze right here, so give me a minute to figure this out. And so I said this was quite a maze, trying to weave these roads through here and get them to a point and have them look actually like it was something intentional. It really was a big challenge, because all in all, just putting those roads in there alone took about an hour to get all of them set in, and I just cut a lot of that recording out. I mean, speeding this up, cutting it out, because there was so many times I'd lay it and then I'd move on to the next area to lay more road, connect it up, and it just wouldn't work, so I'd have to go back and completely redo it. And this is a good example here where I think I just leave it and I go do something else. I go work on a different section, and I eventually do come back to it and tie it all in, and I'm pretty sure I got everything, all the roads tied in up there. But it was a real challenge getting those roads in. This was another area that gave me a lot of issues, but I eventually got it. And sometimes you can kind of game it there, like I did. Just draw a real short section of road and it'll go where it otherwise wouldn't. And another example here where I just play with the roads over and over, trying different layouts and just trying to get it to work. I've never had so much trouble placing roads in this game. I mean, sometimes I know it can be difficult, and usually when it is that difficult, I've got other options I can go with and just kind of go a different route. But the problem here is I've already got all this stuff put in. I've already got the conveyors, I've already got the mines, the stations, the train track. I've already got all of that built in, and that there really limits the amount of terraforming I can do. And then on top of that, it's on the side, it's on the side of a mountain, so the road already didn't want to go a lot of places. And then on top of that, working with the limited amount of terraforming ability, it was a real struggle, but I eventually got it. So then I start checking on other things, and I notice I've got an issue here with a train, but it's not just the one train. I don't realize it's not just the one train right now, but apparently when I sent that export train back to the depot, it broke some of my signals. So I've got to come back and replace some of those signals, swap them out, sort of thing, whatever, just a bug. But here it is. What in the hell has gone on here? What are you doing? You can't get out because of this guy. You can't go in because of that guy. Yes, that'll move it. Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. You're gonna go in here and get diesel, or are you just trying to take a shortcut? Okay, yeah, you're fueling up. We rolling again? That was a... this signal still broke. Swap the chain. Swap it back. See if that signal will fix itself. It did. Okay, that one's good. Yeah, it seems like whenever I send a train into the depot, it breaks the signals here. Maybe switching this to just a regular signal as opposed to the chain signal I had there, maybe that'll resolve that issue. I really hope it does. Okay, trains seem to be moving again. Except, have you been sitting there the whole time? No, I don't think you have. Holy. That's why you were there so long. 12 and a... Is that... Yeah, that's 12,500 liters. Good lord. I didn't realize you guys carried that much. That is... That's quite a bit. This game really does look incredible at night. Let's see. Production's starting to pick back up. We got an extra tanker. So that's going to be all I have for you here in episode 6. I want to thank you for watching, and I've already got a start on episode 7, so that'll be coming out shortly as well, and we'll pick up where I left off in episode 7 and take a look at all the glorious mistakes I have made. Yes. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.